What's going on? It's your boy SB. Okay, it is official. I quit. Let's talk about it. All right, so I am talking about the DSP. We ain't talking about the corporate side. I ain't quitting that. But we are talking about the DSP. You might be like, hold up. I thought you said they already were going to close. Yes, they were going to close in 3 weeks, but let me tell you why I quit before the actual 3 weeks were up. Okay, so at first I was like, all right, bet we got 3 weeks. This is still a check and a half I can collect. Let me go ahead and go out with a bang and get what I can get while it's still here. Now, that was the plan. That was the goal. Because remember, my ultimate goal to leave the job, I still had like another month before I quit on my own if they weren't closing down. But there was a downside to this announcement that our DSP, our Amazon delivery, there's a downside to the announcement that they made about them closing down in a few weeks. One of those things was when they made that announcement, that did cause some people to quit early. And when a lot of people started quitting early, what that did, that put more units, more stress on the people who were still there. So not just more units, that's also with less drivers, less help, supposedly. So this is what happened. Let me give you the rundown. What happened after this announcement was made, all that good stuff, yada, yada, yada. I go in and I do a route. So I'm like, oh man, okay, well, let's just go ahead and ride this out, as I was saying previously. So I got my assignment for the route as usual. I'm up there in the top 3% of having the most units. But I was like, all right, like it's usually like this. Shouldn't be too bad. But I seen a lot of the other drivers with way less units than me. But I bet for sure. So as I'm going throughout this route, there's a few places I'm familiar with, like, okay, cool, this must not be that bad of a route. But as I continue, it gets worse. And then it gets worse and it gets worse. I'm like, yo, then I get to the part of the route to where I know this is not a good route. And this is one of the routes that most of the best people here don't like having. So once I seen that, I was like, wow, like, okay, not only am I going to have one of the highest amount of units, also the worst route. Okay, bet. Noted. So as I continue, at this point, it's probably like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So I still got some time. I thought I was ahead schedule, but on this route with so many units and so many stops, the thing that makes this route bad, it's the houses are so spread out. You're dealing with mansions. I've done routes that had those big houses before, but these are really spread out. And for a lot of them, you got to walk up a long driveway. All that stuff does add up to that time. So at that point, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not taking no breaks today or any type of lunch. It was good though. I was like, you know what? I only got a few more weeks. It's all good. Let me just knock this out. It get around 7:30, you feel me, 8 o'clock. I don't get, I'm looking at our work phone's called the Rabbit. And at this point, I'm laughing because I'm like, yo, I'm checking the phone every 15, 20 minutes. Like, yo, when you're out there with a whole lot, especially on that route, they usually get help. I ain't got no messages. I even checked the personal phone looking for a message from the dispatch. Like, wow, nothing. I don't even get a heads up. Like, hey, we don't have nobody to send out there, but just want to let you know, man, something. Nah, none of that. No motivational quote. You feel me? No. I'm out here in the mountains of, what's that place called? Promised Land? No, it definitely ain't the Promised Land. It's called Paradise Valley. When you on Amazon delivery out there, ain't no Paradise Valley. Anyways. So as I'm going, I'm starting to see, I know other drivers is hot because I'm starting to see packages on the street. Like it's like next to the mailbox. You're not supposed to leave packages next to the mailbox, but I can tell there was other people, how the routes blend and they'll hit like a few stops on your route. It seems like people, as I said on the last video, when it got announced of our DSP closing, people were annoyed and frustrated with that. So it's reflecting in the work. So I'm seeing stuff, feeling by the mailbox. I'm just out here like, yo, it's nighttime. I'm in the mountain. I got to go up these big old steep, slim driveways, all that stuff. And like I said, I'm at the point, I know this isn't going to last too much longer. It's only a few more weeks. So I'm just getting it done. But I think it was when I got to like one of the richest areas at the very top of this hill. I haven't been to this spot before. You can't even drive up there on your own. You have to go through this personal security. But all the houses up there are like Tony Stark. You feel me? What's the Iron Man? How his house looked in Malibu in the movie. All them houses look like that. But anyway, so I get to the gate. It's dark. And when you're in that type of environment, rural areas, it's dark. You feel me? So dark outside, you feel me? Mixed with dark skin. This ain't going to go well. So I'm already like, at this point, I'm like, listen, I'm looking back at my van like, yo, I still got like 3 bags. It's like 8:00. I am not going up there. So I get up to the gate. In my mindset, I'm like, looking, whatever packages I got for them, he getting it. He getting the packages. I am not finna go through cliffs. You feel me? Rock sliding. No, we not doing that. So I get to the gate. First thing he was like, oh, what's up, man? I was like, hey, what's up? Hey, it's like cliffs, and is it real, like, you know, what's the road, the terrain over here? He was like, oh, it's bad. It's bad. You guys, it's real high. It's real slam. I said, listen, I said, hey, say less. This is don't say nothing else. And then he was like, why are you still delivering? I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, that's a real good question, huh? That's a very good. So I'm starting to pull the stuff out and talking to him like, yeah, you know, our DSP, you know, and people quitting it, blah. So he's like, so I go and get the stuff, you know what I mean? And this whole time I'm like, I'm not going up in there. Please don't let it be a lot of packages, because I don't want to leave on a bad note. So I told him like, listen, I'm not going in there. It's already like 8:30. I'm not doing that. That's going to take me forever. You getting the packages. He was like, well, let me check to see. I said, you feel me? Go check if you want, but I'm leaving them with you. If you don't want them, I'm taking them back. Yo, by this time, I was done. You feel me? I'm in the desert. You feel me? Not the desert. The desert is dark. I'm dark. It's tumbleweeds, bushes shaking. Just so as I'm unloading the truck, I'm like, I'm hearing all these noises sound like snakes out there. You can't see nothing. You can't see 2 feet next to you. So at this point, I'm not going up Paradise Valley. The death cliffs up there in this big old van. You crazy? I'm not doing it. You feel me? So anyway, sorry about that, man. So after I told him that, luckily, he comes back and he says, yeah, you're supposed to drop him off here. I said, oh, all right, you know, I didn't want to push it further. Like, look, I already told you I ain't going in there. So anyways, I gave him the packages. He was like, yo, you want a soda? I was like, what kind you got? He like, I got Coke, I got Pepsi. And then he was like, I got Mountain Dew, the blue one and the red one. I was like, ooh, let me get that Mountain Dew though. That blue Mountain Dew, fire. Anyway, so I leave there. There's probably like 11 more stops in that desert, big old mansion areas, which is cool in the daytime. I love the sights, but not at no 9:00 at night. I'm walking up with the little phone, flashlight, and the front of them houses is straight see-through. So you got people just watching TV and, you know, looking at you. It just wasn't good. So once I finally finished, for some reason, I'm not mad. I'm just like, you know what? This is almost over. You know, so as I'm driving back, I make that call. I was like, hey, what's going on? Oh, man, what's going on? I see y'all didn't send no help out today, huh? You know, we didn't have that many people today. I was like, okay. But the thing that got me, it was like, yeah, I know, man. That's like a trash route too. That's like one of the worst. I'm like, yeah, I know. You feel me? I had to go help somebody on this route. Still, I was like, all right, bet. Honestly, I was thinking like, yo, better me than one of the newer people. But it was vets there that day too, who been there longer than me. So I wonder why they didn't get it. But this is kind of where I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm cool. Because when we was on the call, I was like, yo, I know I seen the list. There were people with like 220 or something. It was low. And I was like, yo, that's a big old gap. So it's like, I know they finished early and they could have came and helped. But I didn't even press the issue. I was like, all right, you know, it's whatever. Cool. But once we get back to the DSP, I get back to the station, every car is gone. You feel me? Except mine and somebody else. And at that point, I was like, you know what? It's a wrap. Because that whole night, I was wrestling of just driving back to the station like, hey, I'm done. You feel me? There's about 200 packages in there. I'm out though. You feel me? Like, I'm done. But the whole time I'm like, nah, I can't do that. That's not me. I can't just quit and just go dump this on somebody else. You know what I mean? But I wanted to. You feel me? There's about 3-4 times that day where I got to that point like, is this really worth $500? You feel me? Like, is this stress really worth it? I can just turn around and go drop this van off and just go home. But I was like, nah, I didn't want to do that to them. I didn't want to do that to this person. So I finished the route. But then I start to think like, yo, you guys deliberately put me on the worst route with no help. Deliberately? Yes. These people control the routes. So that was another thing like, man, if you're going to at least put somebody on a trash route like that, at least send them some help. So that was enough for me to be like, you know what? I'm cool. So ultimately I was like, I'm not going to put up with this for 4, 5, 6 more days, 6 more routes of having the worst route, possibility of no help, not taking no breaks nor lunch. And them routes could get stressful, especially when you're in apartments and you can't get to certain areas, and it could just be a mess. So I just did the math, was like, yo, these 4, 5, 6 days, whatever, all right, it's going to equal about $650 or, something around that. Is that worth the stress? Is that worth my peace of mind? Is that worth my emotions over here and over here and over here, getting frustrated? Is it worth it? Getting the worst routes while other people just cruising off into the sunset. You feel me? Like, no, it ain't worth it. So that's when I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be a few $100s I could definitely use in this area, this area, this area. But I rather have my peace of mind. And let's not forget, I injured my back working for this company. That could have been the end of my back and the thing closes. You know what I mean? So it's like, I still ain't had nobody asking like, hey, your back good, right? I still ain't even had that yet. So put myself at risk for 6 more days with the worst routes, heavy stuff. Like on that route, I had like probably like 30 or more. Now I won't say more, probably like 30 big items. The ones that's in the back, they're called overflow items because they're too big to put in the bags. I'm talking about big stuff. I had like 30 of them. It was like the most I've ever had on the route. That's why I really felt some type of way like, yo, I've never gotten this bad of a route, especially with no help. So I'm not going to take the risk of injuring myself again, trying to hurry up and go quick because there may not be any help for you. And I only have 3 more weeks of pay anyways. So I just decided, you know what? A few more days of pay versus peace of mind. I'm going to take the peace of mind and I'm going to quit. So yes, it is a wrap. I wanted to do like my last day at Amazon delivery video, go on one more drive along, get all my favorite spots, all that good stuff. I know the routes wouldn't have been able to even allow me to have breaks. So I didn't want to put myself back in that position. But the time that I had there, for the most part, it was a cool job. It started off great. And you know what I mean? And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I just think something happened because it was at a certain point. Then all of a sudden it was a switch to my routes drastically changed to like the worst ones. But it is what it is. I hope I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I always try to look at the best in people. It is what it is. And I'm there to do the job anyways. Yes, it is a wrap. I'm done with Amazon delivery for the time being. You feel me? Like I said, I'm taking 2 months, reevaluate, refocus, and see what needs to be done. But even if I do feel I need to get a second job part-time, I don't think I want to go back to that again. There's always some other stuff I'm looking at. It was great while it lasted. I definitely appreciated the opportunity to make those extra finances. Definitely appreciated that. Would I still encourage people to go work there? Absolutely. If you need a check, if you need a job and it's there and it's open, why would you not do that? I definitely would do it. Anyways, it's your boy SB. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit the notification bell if you haven't done so yet, so you can see the videos once I upload them. Also, yes, I am an artist. I go by the name of SB. This song is about to come on. It's called Whoa, off my project called Motivated. If you want to check it out, link will be in the description. You can go show some love and stream it. It's on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. I'm going to catch you on the next video. It's your boy SB. Let's go.
Look, they say I couldn't do it, but I did. Turn stacks to a crib. Yeah, going up, going in. Let them sleep, bedtime, tuck them in.